Hello everyone, welcome back to the next session on ABAP on HANA. In the last session of ABAP on HANA, we discussed about our real-time open item analysis scenario, which we will be building in this course by looking at it as a practical example for our SNWD tables for EPM data model. So we are here to solve now problem for Mr. James, who is working as an account receivable accountant in the company. He's managing and taking care of all the cash receivables in the company. So company is selling products online to multiple variety of customers across the globe. Mr. James' responsibility is to collect the outstanding payment. Now, in order to do his job better, he should also classify the customers based on their ability to pay their bills by looking at the time frame since when they have not paid their unpaid invoices, and also looking at the amount of invoices which are unpaid by the customers. So we have looked into this requirement. We have then done a Scrum team planning and a tucked wise estimation on the task. So what exactly we will be doing tucked by tucked as a developer. And now we will start building this scenario. Towards the end of the class, I gave an exercise for most of you. The solution was uh, anticipated from many of you, but very few people turned up. Out of 40 people who are part of this batch, following this batch either as a live class or as a video based course, out of those only 12 people have replied to me. Majority of you, I have already reviewed the code and I gave you my response after reviewing your code. Some of you for whom I looked that there was an improvement for there was a room for improvement, I already redirected you to the right material. So the solution was sent by one of my student, and that solution I really liked it. And this solution was also posted on our training blog. So those who have not completed the exercise or unable to complete and want to look at the solution of this exercise, you can come down and you can see here I've uploaded uh, both the both the ABAP reports for solving that particular problems for both case statement as nested case statement to calculate discount, and a join between all the APM tables is already posted over here. So this was one of the best solution I could get from someone, and that's what I posted it. I guess it was from Archana. Thank you so much, Archana. You were the first one who posted this solution, and I liked it. And that's the reason this now is going to everybody in the whole of batch. So I anticipate similar kind of commitment and hard work from each one of you, abiding to the timeline and sending me the solution on timely basis. Now let's move on then to our open item analysis scenario, and we will be now creating the complete open item analysis scenario as a base ABAPer. So imagine I am an ABAPer, just joined the company, and I've just gone through a very basic ABAP core ABAP training, and I'm not that experienced person to write an amazing fast speedy report. However, to best of my knowledge, I would go ahead and try to solve the problem what Mr. James has. So let's go ahead and log into the system quickly and try to be able to complete this exercise which Mr. James has given me. So I've connected to the system and I'm going to start writing a report program and just name this report program. So by the time I'm taking the class, I would suggest you to please not try things in the system at the same time. Otherwise, you all will be locking my program and then we'll have a problem during the class. So just focus on here. Later on, you can watch this video and practice in parallel to our ABAP system, which I had provided access based on demand to all of you. Now let's go ahead and write down this report. So all the reports which I'm going to write, I'm going to start them with YEPM, and then we will start with YEPM OIA scenario, plain vanilla case. Okay, plain vanilla as in I'm a very small basic ABAP developer who just joined the company, want to build it. So I started with this. I say create, and I'll say open item analysis scenario report, and it's a Z program, so no package required, no transport request required. Typically you would be doing it into a productive package and locking into a transport request. I save it in my local object, and as per the algorithm what we derived, as per the planning what we did, we're going to build it now. So very first thing which I need is a type declaration which is going to hold the final result. So it's a good practice to create a data dictionary structure for that. So I go to SC11 and probably provide a YEPM underscore OIA structure. So let me create an open item analysis is data structure in data dictionary to be able to hold my final result. So OIA result structure. I'm just going to provide first the company name. This is what Mr. James expects. And now I'm confused what data type to give. So it's very easy. You can go to the corresponding standard DB table from where you're going to pull the data. So company name is going to come up from SNWD BPA table. Those who are joining this class for the first time, those who have just enrolled for my ABAP on HANA course, there is little bit of part you guys have missed it in the previous classes. So I would highly recommend you to go back and watch the videos which you have missed it, the classes of which you had missed it. So some of the parts you may not be able to understand in today's class. Don't panic. Just go into the right flow, cover up the missed classes. They are already there in our training blog through videos, and then you will be able to catch up pretty fast over next week, and then you will be able to understand everything pretty well. So don't panic if you're not understanding what am I doing, where am I going, which tables I'm opening. Don't panic much. Just look at it today's class, relax, and then look at the videos which are there in the training block, complete that, and then you will be able to connect things pretty well easily. So now coming back, so that's the first table which we will be pulling the data from. So I have a company name already, and the same data element I'm going to reuse now in defining my structure. The next is after company name, we will be having here the information about, for example, I want the BPID, business partner ID, and that also I'll choose it as a type, and then I'm going to get that BPID from here. That's the data element for BPID. And then we would be having something called a gross amount which we will be calculating. We would need a currency code. We would also need the number of average number of open days. So these are all the things which I would need to calculate. And then finally a tagging for the customer, that this customer would probably be tagged as a high risk customer as per Mr. James customizing later point of time. So now let's put in this gross amount. So maybe I just go to another table which is my invoice header table, and just get the data element for uh, invoice headers. So now this is the gross amount. I take this up, I just put it over here. That's a currency type. You can see guys, be the currency code. So I take this currency code data element, put it here. Now average number of open days, this is something which we can create a new data element and probably use something like a ready to use data element inside SAP int 4. So I'm going to switch to built-in types. I just put it as a int 4, and this one I put it as a flagged data element available as a character 1 in SAP. Now it's important that you understand basic ABAP here. And we all know in a basic ABAP, when you design a structure or a table, if you have a currency field, it has to have its reference field defined in the reference field tab for currency and quantities. So here we have a CURR type for which the reference type should be CUKY. So we need to link quickly our currency type for this particular field of type CURR within the same structure. That's one important point, and now with which we can activate our data structure, which is going to hold the final result set for our data. So I just do that, some little bit of warning, that's because of enhancement category. I just ignore that, and by far now my structure is activated. So far so good, very basic thing. Now let's define an internal table which is going to store the final result. So data, and I just put LT result. This is going to be my final result type table of my structure. LS result, like line of LT result. And now let's come down and start writing the queries one by one. The very first thing, now we've got to follow the algorithm which we have written over there. So let's come back to algorithm. Check how long and on an average basis the invoices has been outstanding for customer. How are we going to calculate that? So you are going to calculate this thing by looking at now this algorithm. Step one, you need to get all the open invoices, guys. Remember, all the open invoices we need to get it, And after getting all the open invoices, we're going to loop through each of these invoices. And after looping, we need to calculate since how long that invoice is open. Now, one humble request to you, that these tables which we are going to use, please don't update any data or don't flush any data from this table, because I had spent lot of time yesterday and tonight, yesterday night and today morning, to able to put the data which works well with this scenario. So if you try to write insert, update, delete, or a flush of the data in the server, it's going to affect everybody, and it's sometimes may affect our class schedule as well. Because this data which I put it so meticulously that fulfills the need to be able to work with this scenario in the system. So please don't run EPM data generator, neither don't update any of the database tables related to EPM in our training server. It's going to affect everybody. So it's just a request. If you do that, then it will be again a rework for me, and many times it could so happen that it affects others, because tables are same for all of us. If we really want to leverage and practice open items analysis scenario, none of you should idly insert, update, delete. Don't do any DML operation on these database table. In my last batch, we had used one server, and where one student have gone and flushed these tables, and one student then later on executed sepm underscore dg transaction data generator, which would then disturb the data in the table, and because of that we had to compromise one of the session which was planned over the weekend. So please don't update. It's one humble request, because it's going to affect everybody. Anything you want to do, just do a select query. Nothing will happen. Okay, nothing will happen. I had, and those who are using their own company server, I had already uploaded the sample data in our training blog. So if you go to our training blog, I've already uploaded sample data, guys, in our training blog. You can see that. I just go here and you see there's a zip file called EPM data. You see EPM data.rar. This is the one. And in this file, actually, I have uploaded everything. I have uploaded Excel sheets with all the information into it. I have also uploaded a demo program. So today itself, I was just resetting everything because somebody executed EPM data generator last week. Because of that, this scenario could not be automated. And I also got an email from one of my student who was actually trying this in the system, but due to lack of data he was unable to, because somebody have messed up with the data. So maybe just quickly show you here. Go into C drive where I've extracted, and there's a report program also, guys, I've prepared. This was something which was prepared to safeguard things up. And this program, what it does, it actually going to upload these Excel sheets into your database table in your company server. So those who don't have data in your own company server, you have DB tables, perfectly fine. You can go ahead and use my test data and use this ABAP report. Just copy paste this ABAP report, do little bit of changes according to your need, and then all these Excels will be getting uploaded into your database tables of your productive system in your company. Fine. Is that clear? But please, at least in this server, which is commonly used by all of us, including me, don't touch the data, just as a humble request. It will otherwise affect all of us. Okay. Now, let's move on. Then what we're going to do is we are going to now write down our code to be able to perform this as per the algorithm. You need to put this in your local computer, C drive EPM data folder. Once you read this ABAP program which I've written, you can see this ABAP program where it expects in C drive EPM data folder, and then that's the path of Excel sheet where it should be. Okay, just read this ABAP program. I assume all of you are ABAPer, and then you can read this basic ABAP program and how it does things. Yeah, so just read through it. You will understand easily where the file has to be kept in your server. I spent a lot of time building this report. I was urging my students in last batch continuously to write such a report for me. Write, please, please, please. Nobody, not even a single person, is spent time in writing this. And finally, I have to do it myself. And then once it's done, it's done. Now you all can leverage this. Yeah, you all can reuse. Everything is packaged inside this RAR file. You can download and work with it. Okay, let's come back. So now what we're going to do, the first thing is going to calculate the average number of days. So let's start looping on the database table, which is our SNWD invoice header table, one by one record. And we are going to calculate eh, how long it's been every single invoice is open. Now remember one important thing which we had also looked at here. we need to look at the invoices which are unpaid, and that is something which you can check using payment status column in invoice header table. So let's come back, and now what I'll do is go back to our report and just do select business partner table bp underscore id. I'm going to choose, that's my first thing, and then I'm going to choose invoice table, and I'm going to get the value of created at when this invoice was created. You can also get the changed at information. So I use created at from my invoice header table, snwd sales order invoice header table as invoice, and I will do a join condition with my bp table, business partner table. So let's do that. So I just come here and just do an inner join with snwd bp table as bp. So just selecting one column from here and another from here. The join condition is invoice header buyer guide. Those who have completed my last class exercise, you already know that now the relation between the tables. So that's a relation between the table business partner and the buyer guide table. Buyer guide of invoice, buyer guide column of invoice table joins with the node key column, which is a primary key of business partner table, to pull the data between them. And now this is something which I'm going to bring it into inline data declaration into, let's say, ls underscore invoice data, where payment status is blank. Remember, this is an important condition. What does this condition ensures in our scenario? Anybody? What is this condition ensures in our scenario? That the invoices are unpaid, only those ones we are looping. Okay, I can increase the zoom. Yes. And select. So select and select is a loop. Now as I told you guys, there can be definitely hundreds of better way of writing it. Assume I am just a fresher, assume I am just a basic ABAP developer who just joined company 6 months back and who is writing this code. Okay, so I'm sure you guys are having a lot of thoughts in your mind. Anubhav, can we use some functions? Can we do an aggregation here? Of course you can do that, and that's what will be our subsequent step going forward. Okay, please mute a line who has joined just now. Thank you. Okay, now, so once we are doing this, now what we'll do is we are going to take this data into another structure. So let me just do that. So what I'll do is I'll just take this data into another structure, and that structure I'm just going to put maybe the BPID. So I'm just going to define another type, and I say begin of type, and in this type I'm going to put the business partner ID, the total number of days and total number of count. As you all know, the formula for average is the sum plus divided by number. So to calculate an average number of invoices, we would be doing that. So begin of type ty underscore average, and then I'm going to put bp underscore id as my first thing, snwd bp hyphen bp underscore id. Then I'm going to put total days, type integer for, and number of invoices, total count of invoices to be very precise, type again integer for, and then I just end this type ty average, and now just declare another internal table ltbp, sorry, lt average, type table of ty average, and then ls average, like line of lt average. Perfect. And now what we'll do is, you can see here inline work area will give you invoice data. So we're gonna calculate the difference when the invoice was created and what is today's date. That difference we're gonna calculate. That gives me the number of total, the difference actually. So now, one important point to note. Let's go back and check our invoice table. So let's have a quickly look at invoice header table and see what format the create date or change date is at. So can anybody tell me here, by looking at the data type, what is the format of created at is at? What is the format? What do you think we are storing in this? Are we just storing a date into this? No. You see, the data type is decimal 21, which means it's storing a timestamp, guys. It's a timestamp. So, can you calculate a difference between side datum and a timestamp in ABAP? No. You have to first get the timestamp into date and then calculate the date difference. So that's what we'll do first. Once we've got this data, we're going to calculate the date out of this timestamp. So say convert timestamp, the value of the timestamp, this hyphen created at time zone, and I can say current time zone psi hyphen zone low. It's a system variable for current time zone into date, and again an inline data declaration with lv date. That gives me the current, that gives me the date. Now I got the date in YYYYMMDD out of the timestamp. I'm ignoring the seconds, hours and minutes. I'm just getting the date when was the last invoice was created or changed, which is unpaid at the moment. Okay, and now it's pretty easy for you to calculate the difference. So what you're going to do is you can calculate the difference within today's date psi datum minus this date. So you can say psi hyphen datum minus this date. That's what you can do. Now remember, this is time zone, guys. Zone low is time zone, it's not date. This is date. So first we are converting timestamp into the date format. So timestamp is YYYYMMDD hour, minute, second and microseconds. That should be converted to a day, to a date. And that's the syntax in ABAP to convert a timestamp to a date. Okay, and for that you have to give a time zone. Now once it is done, so format to zone low. Zone low means like timestamp format, guys. This is like time zone. EST, PST, IST. That's the time zone it is. It doesn't really matter. That's just a syntax to create a time out of time stamp. Okay. So don't worry much about that. Then once this is done, you calculate the difference between today's date and since when the invoice is open, and you just park this into our column here for ls average hyphen total days. In this you take it. Okay, now what you also do is you just do a count invoice ls average hyphen invoice count equals to just 1. So I'm counting it now. So every time the loop runs it counts 1. Okay, number of invoices, it is looping number of invoices. So every time loop runs for a bp it counts 1. And now I put here ls average hyphen bpid equals to my bpid over here. So whatever is the bpid comes up, that we will take it. Yeah, so that becomes my value. Clear, everybody? So this is what we have done. Now can anybody tell me why am I doing this? Will this be able to give me total number of days and total count of invoices? What do you think if I just do append ls average to lt average? Will this give me, will this give me total number of days for that business partner and total number of invoices? It will not, guys. It will not. Why? Because imagine, let me just show you quickly in this, in the output. So what is happening now? Let's look at our data. So what is happening here in the data? So now we have a bpid, we have a date. So what is happening? Let's say you have first invoice which is open, you got for bpid 1 and date is 1/1/2017, it's open. bpid again for this customer, again there is an invoice which is open since 1st of March. And then there is again there is an invoice which is open since 1st of April. And there is another business partner for which there is an invoice which is open from February. And there's another for this guy again open from March. Now you are actually looping through these invoices. And if you just loop and calculate today's date minus this date and put it in another internal table, what your internal table would have is actually again the same number of records. But what we ultimately want, we want to calculate the difference. And after calculating the difference also, we just want to see data like this. We want to see bpid 1 this date minus current date. क्या होगा? This date minus current date, let's say this date minus current date is, let's say 368 days plus this date minus current days, so 338, let's say. Okay, then this date minus current date, 308. So that's what I want. Current date minus these differences I want to total up, and then every record I'm counting one. So 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3 I've counted, so 1 plus 1 plus 1 aa gaya. So you got the total, you also got the count total. Now calculating an average per business partner is easy. Just sum this up, divide both of them, you get an average number of days, isn't it clear, guys, what we want to do? So which is that ABAP statement, which when you want to append the data to internal table, rather than appending the record, it do a sum, it do a sum of numeric column. Perfect answer, Shiva. There is an ABAP statement called collect work area into itab. What it does, any numeric column, if it finds into an internal table, it automatically does a sum. It doesn't add a new record, it doesn't append a new record in internal table. Rather, any numeric column, remember my words, numeric column, it will do a sum. And this is there since many many years. When I learned ABAP in year 2001, this was also there in 2001 also. This is not something new with ABAP. Some of you may not have worked with it. This is called control break statement in internal table. This comes under advanced internal table concepts. So this is one of the control break statement. Actually collect work area to itab. Okay, there are other control break statements like at first, at last, sum. You have at new, at end of, at begin of. These are all different control break statements inside of an ABAP. Similarly, this comes under advanced internal table area. So instead of append, you just do collect. So what it does now, the BPID is the character column, and these two columns, if you see, we put them as an integer. They are numeric columns. So system is going to total up these things always. It's not going to append new records. So for every business partner, when same business partner invoice repeats again, it just does a total of this number of days and total count. So at the end, you're going to get total number of days since whence all the invoices are open and total number of invoices. Calculating a division between these two, you can easily calculate the average number of days between this. And the syntax is collect this into the LT average. Is this part clear, everybody? The first phase of our tucked one, this was tucked one. This is what we wanted. Clear, everyone? Very step by step, very straightforward. Going through the PPT, our algorithm, and writing it pretty easily. This is still basic ABAP, guys. What I'm showing here to make you understand the scenario. Because when we are going to go deep inside of SAP HANA to do a code to data paradigm, that time you should know what we have done in ABAP, how the processing was done, and then we're gonna improve that up on the same. I'll take up your question, Bhaskar. Just hold on for a minute. Let me complete this one scenario, and then I'll take up all the questions. Maybe your question will be answered once I complete the discussion. Okay. So this is first part. Step number one: calculating the average number of days. And let's see at least if this works. Step one. That's a tucked one output. This is what we promised in the tucked one. We're gonna give average number of days. So let's do that. Finally, I'm gonna loop once again my internal table to ls average. And now I'm going to prepare my final output, which is LT result. So I'll say ls result hyphen business partner ID equals to ls average hyphen BPID. And then I'll say ls result average number of days, boss. Please tell me average number of days. Very simple formula now. When I'm looping over it, I can say this hyphen total number of days divided by total number of invoices to calculate the average count, and then just append this ls result to lt result. Tucked one is over, and there you go. You will see now Mr. James will be happy to see his first output. At least the number of average number of days since when invoices open are visible to Mr. James. CL ABAP CL demo output, and then say display data. Okay, let's see. Come on, it's stuck. Compiling something, I guess. Yeah, it's up now. And just say display me this data. And I'm gonna pass in our internal table which we prepared for final result set. Remember, this is task one. We're gonna build this phase by phase. Not gonna eat up the whole pizza in one shot. We're gonna eat phase by phase, bite by bite. Yeah. Let's pass in the value. Do a check. Okay, into. Cool. Let's execute it. And we're gonna see the output. Oops, there's a problem. Company name is empty. What went wrong? Is there somebody played around with data today? Let me check. I'll set up a breakpoint. At least let me see now. Do we have any data? Do we have any empty invoices which are open in system? I understand. There is a mistake I did. Can anybody guess what mistake I did? Anyone?
Space.
Hmm. If there is a space problem, you will get an error, syntax error. It
No,
won't
I
work.
mean in the payment status.
No, no, no guess. I'll tell you. It's very silly mistake. Table name. Table name is BPA. It's not BP, guys. It's BPA. Okay. Very often you can do such mistake. It's BPA table. Save this, activate, and execute. And I just execute, and voila. You can see. Wow, superb, guys. See, first phase for Mr. James is complete. Per customer, it's telling you since how long, on an average, the invoices are open per customer. Do you see a value coming out for our end user? The first tucked output. Clear? First phase, the first tuck, very first tucked output, guys. This is what the average number of open days since when invoices are open. Let's move on to tuck 2 now. So tucked 1 is over. He's happy. Now he expect more. Let's move on to the tuck 2. Similarly, now we're gonna calculate the gross amount of total invoices which are open. What is the gross amount? And that too, the catch is in common currency. So you got to do a currency conversion. Very important factor here. And now it's gonna you're gonna join three different tables. Why item table? Anybody? Why do you think we need item table gross for from the item table? Why not the gross amount from header table? Why? Why do you think we can survive on gross amount on header table? Header table also has a gross amount. Why we need item table gross amount? Anyone?
We check for delivery.
No. Delivery date is here. We don't need delivery date actually to be compared. Date was only used here to calculate number of open, I mean number of average days since when it's open. Actually, remember, it's a multinational company doing business in all across the globe. And if you carefully look at the item table data for a single invoice, it could so happen. Let's imagine I am Amazon. I have business across the globe. Okay. Now there's a big company which comes, let's say Colgate, and they say, I want my raw material to be purchased from Amazon. Want to buy 2000 computers for my company. Now, these 2000 computers, out of these 2000 computers, you send 500 computers, you deliver to US, you deliver 500 computers to India, and 1000 computers you got to deliver to Germany. Okay. Will Amazon lose the business? Will Amazon say that no, I will not do business with you because you're asking me to deliver at three different locations? What do you think? Will Amazon refuse the order because the demand is to deliver at three different locations? Of course, you can't lose the business. That's how the global business is all about. You got to deliver. Now, do you expect if you're delivering to US the payment in Indian rupees? Or do you expect if you're delivering in India payment in US dollars? No, no. So line items when they are delivered, they are billed in the local currency, different currency. That's why your line item table has the local currency value. So you should take the value from line item table for every line item, do a currency conversion, and then calculate the total gross of invoice. So one invoice, this is one single invoice, this is one invoice document, guys, which was shipped three different location, billed to three different parties, three different location of Colgate, yeah, sitting at three different location, and paid by the company Colgate in three different currencies. So watch out, look at the beauty of the business, guys, look at the beauty. That's what I call a real time scenario. Yeah, that's what I call real time scenario. So that's what we understand now very well about the business of the company. So what you're going to do is, that's why we need items table. But still, will you calculate the gross for no for paid invoices? Is that the requirement? Would Mr. James expect it to be paid invoices to also calculate the gross? No. You need to calculate the gross for unpaid invoices. How do you find it's a invoices paid or unpaid? Payment status, and that's in the header table. So header table should also be there in the code, item table should also be there in the code, and business partner table is also there in the code. All three tables has to join together now, yeah, to calculate the gross. So let's do that. So now we're going to come back and it says select, and I'm going to get the BPID again. So business partner BPID, I'm going to also get this time the company name. I'm going to get now the gross amount from item table. I'm going to get the currency code from item table, because each line item could be in a different currency. Okay. Now I'll say from all three tables has to participate. First is SNWD underscore sales order invoice header table as header, inner join on SNWD underscore BPA table as BP. The very first on condition, join condition between the header and the BP. Header table ka buyer GUID should match with business partner table ka node key से. Okay. Pehla join. Next join, I would put here the next one SNWD underscore, this time item table, guys, invoice item table as item, inner join, and this whole thing has to be joined actually. Inner join has to come here actually. Inner join item table on, that's a basic join, guys, just the way we do joins. Here we are joining three tables. So header table ka node key should match with the item table's parent key. Now just to quickly show you the data in items table, let me show you line item data. So I go to items table and execute it just blindly. Watch out, see the gross amount and see the currency codes: euro, USD, euro, JPY, GBP, MXN, ARS. See Indian rupees, ARS, CNY, euro, USD, JPY. See different currencies it was built. Make sense or doesn't make sense to use this one? However, when you go to header table, you will see gross in one single currency, guys. So never trust on the gross which is at the header table. You got to go to items table to find that out. Fine. Okay. That's very important point. That's why we are going to the items table. See different currency values. We're going to convert everything into US dollar at this moment. So let's go back and just going to convert this to US dollars. So I just come back. And now what I'll do is I'll say end select, and now what I'll do is I'll just going to calculate this. Once again, we're going to use collect statements. Let me declare a data type where I'm going to store these values. So just use a little bit of types here. And then this time, this type is to calculate gross. It's a gross type. And this is going to have BPID. It's going to have company name and SNWDBP hyphen company name. BPA, sorry. BPA company name. And yeah, I guess you're right. And then after that, we would need the gross amount and currency code. So say gross in amount in common currency. This is what we will be calculating. Invoice header hyphen gross amount. And then we have currency code type SNWD sales order invoice header hyphen currency code. Okay, cool. So now that's my structure where I'm going to calculate this. So let's put it here, ls gross, type table of ty gross, and lt gross like line of t gross. I know I did a typo here. Cool. Now let's come down, and that's my select query. And where am I going to get these values? So from into dynamic data declaration with my escaping of host variable, and I'll just put invoice amount. And now I'm just going to say invoice amount. First thing which I'm going to apply right away, currency conversion. So in ABAP we have a function module which does this currency conversion. The function module name is convert to local currency. And I'm going to pass here the date as current date. Then you're going to pass the foreign amount and foreign currency, what you have received from the table. So from the table we receive this amount. I'm just going to pass this here, currency gross amount. What is the currency code of this amount which you are passing in? That currency code you pass. What currency you want to convert, pass it in local currency. So I want to convert right now hard code to USD. Every single value should be converted to US dollar. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Just little bit cleaning up, no exception handling at the moment. Yeah, and then that's my currency conversion. So once the currency amount, sorry, I think I removed the import parameter as well. And finally the value should be imported, guys, imported to the local amount. So here your value gets imported out, and that you take it into your work area of this type which you just created, ls gross, because we got to also calculate the total, right? So ls gross hyphen gross amount. And now this currency which in which you are converting is ls gross hyphen currency code is fixed. It becomes US dollar. Yeah. So currency code is hard coding right now, guys, USD. I'm going to convert US dollars, and rest all is nothing. Okay. Now one question which may come, Anubhav, how are the currency conversion is taking place? The value for currency conversion, the conversion factors, like what is the exchange rate today, it's not ABAPers duty, it's your basis guys duty to maintain the currency conversion values in the SAP system. And that's done by a basis people. Just to tell you the database table name, it's CTCURR, where currency exchange rates are maintained. So you can go back and check this table if you have, exchange rates maintained between, let's say for example, INR to USD or not. Yeah, all that you can check it here. That's your duty as a developer, just to check if it's there. Your duty is not to maintain this value. Clear? It's not your duty to maintain this value in the system. So you see there are different exchange rates, different factors based on which currency conversion is taken place. See, pretty old rate, it's 46 when it was like, I think it's 2001 or 2005's time. That time the USD and INR was 46 and now it's about 68. So these are pretty outdated value at the moment, but enough for us to at least practice this scenario. However, it just, to show you that yes, there are values maintained in the system which system will be using to calculate the amount. So don't expect to be very very precise ki Anubhav, this is calculating wrong. It's completely depending on the data which is there in these currency tables. There are lots of tables, you can check them all up pretty easily. Just go to your DB table and just click on the object list button, and that will show up the list of available currency tables in the system. There are conversion factors, there are exchange rates, there are types of conversion. Would you like to convert based on a date, certain date, or historical dates, or based on certain factors? So all these things are complicated subject. That's something which your basis guy has to take care. You as a developer can just simply go and check if the exchange rates are maintained or not maintained. So you see these tables must have entries in order to ensure a smooth conversion of your currency, and that's something which your functional person will tell you on what factor, on what basis the currency conversion should be done. Okay, so these are all the tables you can see here with all the currency fields, currency types which are supported, and the rates. Now let's come back. So I just come back here. So once this is done and we are good, so now we calculated the gross and also the currency. That's pretty good. And now just going to take this BPID. Yes, that's my BPID. So that's BPID comes from this invoice thing, which I'm reading from table. You can actually do MOOC responding, guys. Yeah, you can do MOOC responding. So let me just do MOOC responding at the beginning. LS invoice amount to LS amount, cross amount. And once again, just apply a collect statement so that total keeps on happening on integer columns. So just say collect work area into my LT gross, and that's it, guys. That's your tuck number 2. Perfect. This is what we wanted. And now let's combine these results together. So here, while you're looping through the average number of days, what you can also do is you can just do a read table of this LT gross amount into my LS gross amount with key BP underscore ID, and that's gonna match with this BP underscore ID. And if psi hyphen sub RC is 0, do something else, do something else. And if it is 0, then I'm just gonna say clear. Gross amount should be null. Currency code should also be null. Yeah, if it is found, then of course the gross amount should be updated. The company name which we are going to get, gross amount which we're going to get, currency code which we're going to get. Very simple basic ABAP thing. So here this gives you the total gross amount in a common currency, and your converted currency of course will also come here. Currency code, sorry, little bit misplacing of values, and then here is your company name. Perfect. And finally that result gets prepared. We are good. Let's hope it works, fingers crossed. And just do a quick check. Oops, there's a problem. Yes, it's BPA, I think the label. And do a quick check once again. Yes, here also some corrections, and looks like good. Pretty good for as a fresher ABAP developer. Yeah, first ABAP report with lots of thinking. Huh? And now let's activate and just test this. So what Mr. James has to say, execute it, and boom, wow, guys, amazing. See, Backup Berlin, that's a customer with BPID, and this is the total gross of open invoices in the system in US dollar currency, common value with a number of average days since when it's open. Is that clear, everybody? Is that clear to each one of you? This end-to-end open item analysis scenario. There's a lot more action to happen now on this, guys. I hope you all understand this scenario now. Let's do a quick tagging of the customer. So now let's say I decide, Mr. James decide to probably say do a tagging for me, and I'll say maybe I want to do a tagging. So now let me show you an amazing stuff what SAP also provide with SAP NetWeaver 7.4. So I'll say tagging, and I can use a bool c function. Okay, this is a function introduced in NetWeaver 7.4. What the bool c function does, it calculates a boolean value based on your condition, so you can pass in a logical expression inside this. Okay, bool c function, a logical expression, and it calculates a boolean x or blank. Okay, so now I'll say if let's say something is true, then it's going to return me an x. If something is not true, then it's return me blank. So I'm just going to put a expression inside, and I'll say if the number of average number of days since when invoice is open exceeds my threshold limit of 410 days. Okay, exceeds my threshold limit of 410 days, then what you do is you will I would say probably it's a high risk customer. And if number of average amount, also also the amount, guys, both the things, if it exceeds with, let's say, 1 million, yeah, then that both condition when satisfies, it's a high risk customer. And that's beautiful, guys. You don't have to do an if condition, you can just use bool-c function, pass in your conditions, and if these conditions satisfies, then it's going to return a true value, and that goes in the tagging. Let's do a quick activate, and now we are done with complete all three tasks. Execute, and voila, you see it's also marking, uh, clearly telling Mr. James, बॉस ये गड़बड़ है, ये कस्टमर इसको पकड़ो पहले, इसको ईमेल डालो, इसको फोन करो. Yeah, these are all the bad guys, or potentially could be a bad guys in future. Yeah, that's my criteria for classifying customers based on their risk assessment. However, there are other customers who could be a defaulter, who has pending invoices, who has pending things on their hand, but these are high risk customer based on a threshold value. They exceeded my criteria of threshold value. And Barbara will do some kind of analysis. Rebecca is going to do another analysis. They're all going to do different analysis on different factors, and that's something we're going to define a customizing table in the system. And based on that, we can find that up. Of course, we don't have to go and change the code every time. We can make it pretty dynamic, but yet, just to give you an idea of real time scenario, this could be a perfect real time scenario. And this ABAPer who just joined the company really did a pretty good job. And you see, things which we really planned for about three tasks about a month or so, we could just complete it in 1 hour, guys. When your planning is good, believe me, task completion is just about completion. If your algorithm, if you understand the flow of diagram, if you break down the problem into pieces, no work is difficult. Nothing is difficult. Everything is achievable, and it can be time bound. And you see here we planned for about a month. Does it really take that much of time? It didn't took. It took hardly about 1 hour. That too when I'm explaining you. If I don't explain you, I could have coded this about in 20 minutes. Or you could have coded this in about 45 minutes. How many have you tried? I say only one person, because I only got one response after the last class that Anubhav, I tried this. And that was from Asad, I guess. Only one person who tried it. Rest all didn't even bother to try. And out of which some people have tried the exercise at least. They tried and they sent me solutions also. That's what I like. And then rest of all, I don't even know what they are doing, guys. I really don't know what they are doing, rest of the people. So let's come back. Now, with that, I remember an example which I used to read in my schooling days. My teacher always used to say, there are four types of people in the world, and we should see we can identify them. So everybody, have you seen alarms? Have you ever set alarm in your life to wake up early in the morning? How many of you set up alarm to wake up early in the morning in your mobile phone, or maybe into an alarm clock? Lot of Pratibha, only one person. So many of you, I do. Ravi also does. Okay, good. So we all, many of us maybe in our life have set many times alarms to wake up early in the morning. And then how many of you really follow the alarm? If I ask, what do you think? How many of you were able to wake up? We don't know. So with that, you can identify these four category of people. So there are first category of people who are the people who set up an alarm, but when the alarm rings, they don't even care. They don't even bother because it's not at all now important for them what they planned last evening. These type of people called sleepers. When the time comes, they do plan a lot of things. They planned last night to set up an alarm and wake up early in the morning. But when the time comes, they don't take an action. They're still sleeping. You can relate this with your work very well related to your work, guys. This is something you can relate in your company. When you look at the people around you in your team, you can categorize your team members in one of these four categories very easily. It will give you a very good insight of your team. If you are in the management, team management, or any kind of management post, this is something you can apply in your team. You can look at the people and you can categorize them. These are all the people who are least bothered about anything. They still follow old, no matter what. They always follow old ways, old things, lethargic ways. They don't care, and this is what they will pay a cost in long term. So today they are seeing that industry is moving towards SAP UI5, Fiori, ABAP on HANA, S4 HANA, SAP HANA, but they are still reluctant to move to it. They want to still work on core ABAP. They want to work on workflow. They want to do things what they know and they've been doing. They are reluctant to change. It will be difficult day by day for them. Believe me, it will be difficult for them day by day. These are all sleepers. The second category of people who set up an alarm, and when the alarm rings, what do? They snooze. These are all snoozers. What these people does? They say, what I've decided, maybe today not important. When alarm rings, they say, not now. Again it rings, not now. They keep postponing things. They know there is an urgency to learn new technology today for their survival, but they keep postponing it. They're snoozers. These people are also very difficult for them. They will make their life so difficult. They keep waiting for the time, and when the time comes, they say, no, not now. I have to change. I will change. I want to change. I should change, but not now. Maybe later, maybe day after tomorrow. Baad mein, baad mein, baad mein. These are all snoozers. For them also, it will become a very difficult time. Then there is a third category of people. What these people does, when the alarm rings, after 2 3 snooze, they wake up. Okay. Then once they wake up, they decide, they think, who am I? What am I doing? Why did I set up the alarm at the first place? And then they go back to sleep again. These people are, they know, they knew, they decided to do something good and they took the right path, but later on they decided to give up on that path because they could not see the value in that path in a shorter term. Like I give you a lot of example. When I start a new batch, I get lot of enrollment. I see lot of energy in people. अनुभव सीखना है मेरे को, मैं सीखूंगी अनुभव, मैं मेहनत करूंगी. After 2 3 classes passes, they go back to their old ways, lethargic ways, old techniques, their conventional techniques. They don't want to come back. They took a right decision. They started doing things right. But since the effect of that did not was too much, because remember, guys, the effect will not happen in one day. You take 2 3 ABAP on HANA classes, you will not see a visible result. But after fifth class, sixth class, 10th class, 12th class, you will see you have gained lot of knowledge. First day you go to gym, you will not do a great, you will not greatly lose any weight. You will not greatly become a bodybuilder on first day, but over a period of time, when you follow the strict diet plans, strict exercise, you will see a change in your body, and that's what motivates you. But after 1 week of gymming, people will come back and say, no, kal jaunga, nahi jaunga. They took the right path, but they come back. These people are like slummers. They come back, okay? They go back to the old ways. They are slummers. They go back. These are all the people who decided to took the right path, but they're finished. But they leave this path. They leave it in the middle. And the final people, on the first ring of alarm, they wake up. They're ready to change. They're ready to transform not just their own life, but transform to many others, to resonate with many, many others. These are all the people whom I want to be part of my course, whom I want to work with, whom I want to learn with, whom I want to teach to. So you got to decide who you are. These are active, passionate people. I call them active, passionate. They are the walkers. They wake up with the first alarm. Now you need to decide who you are. If you leave this course in the middle, you're slammer. You will never be able to come back. There are many, many inquiries I get. People write big, big emails to me. If I show you those emails, it will never end. I get about 20 emails a day, guys. 20 to 25 emails a day. New emails where people are like, they decided to do something, but they go back to their old ways. They go back. They're snoozers. They know there is a change needed in their life, but they don't take an action. Guys, become active, passionate walkers. If you will become this, definitely success is yours. Nobody can stop you. Not your manager, not your vice president, not your VP, SVP, even your company CEO, even your team lead, even your colleagues. Nobody can stop you. Become a walker. Don't be a slammer. Don't be a snoozer. Don't be a sleeper, guys. Try to be a walker. Show your passion. The first day of the class, the way you had, same thing I want to see in every one of you. That's the category. You need to decide. You can look around you, find out which category the person belongs to. Don't be a slammer. Don't be a snoozer. It is very, very difficult to come back. What you started with, continue with that. Put your 100%, 200% passion into it. I want to see it from each one of you. When I give an exercise, let's see how many of you next time completes it. How many of you puts your effort, sincere effort. Whether your output come or not come, that don't worry. That's my duty. Output will come. It's my duty. It's Anubhav's job. If your output is not coming towards the end of the course, it's my duty. I fail, but as long as you try, you are my student. You are the walker. Let's move on with that. Moving to the next phase, how can we improve the performance? But first, we have to measure the performance of current report. How can we measure the performance? So let's go ahead and measure the performance. And for that, it's very, very simple. We're going to calculate the time when we start selecting the data from database, and then calculate the time after the selection is over. Calculate a time difference and print the time difference on the UI to the user. What was the time taken to run the report, to run your selection? And there's an API provided in ABAP for that. It's called SAP Timer API, which you can use to be able to calculate the time difference between the starting point and ending point. So what you'll do is you'll come back here and I'll create an object for the same API. So I say hello timer, and I'll just say equals to CL underscore ABAP, CL underscore timer class, I guess, CL ABAP timer. So there is an API, there's a class which is available in SAP to be able to calculate the time. So it's, I think, CL ABAP timer. Yes, get runtime, which gives you the get runtime. So it's very simple. It's not a rocket science to calculate that. So you can use CL ABAP runtime API, and then you can say get hour timer, create an hour timer, and once this object is created, you just get the first starting time. So data T1 equals to this, and then say get runtime at the starting point. And once your selection everything is over, at the end here, you can put the T2. And now you can calculate the runtime, final runtime taken by a report, which is T2 minus T1 divided by 1000. It calculates the time in microseconds, so we are bringing it into millisecond now. Okay, I save this. I'm not sure if it is available in older release of NetWeaver. At least with NetWeaver 4.0, I've seen it is available. Okay, with 7.4 it is available, so you can use this to calculate the time. Clear, everyone? So at least with 7.4 it is available. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to print this time also here. So I'll say this, and I'll just use something called next selection. Here you can print something on the UI as a title, and with the title I'll say real time OIA plain vanilla as a basic ABAPer. And now guys, I can use new syntax actually. I love that syntax, my string expression, and just use this curly braces. Hope you all remember the string expression which we learned in previous class. And then I can say runtime. I don't have to use any extra concatenation at all. That's the beauty of a string concatenation, a string expression. And now I just activate it, and let's execute. And you see runtime is 72 millisecond. Can we improve this? We are all about ABAP on HANA. So we need to look at ways, better ways to improve this performance. This is, imagine your as is a state today in your company, your custom reports, your custom transactions. That's as is a state in your company. So now company hire an ABAP on HANA consultant. He's little more experienced than the fresher. And Mr. James express his uh, concern to the developer team and say that, okay, can you improve this performance? Because imagine there's a very small set of data guys today in our production. What we are showing here, it's a demo system, very small set of data. Imagine you have billions of records. If you want to analyze, this runtime is going to be humongous. Probably you got to end up writing this report and running it in the background to be able to calculate all that. Yeah, so how can we improve the performance? So that's goes to the next level. Now we're going to use aggregate function again in open SQL to be able to aggregate the results. So here, what guideline are we violating? What do you think? What is the biggest problem with this approach of select and select? What do you think is the biggest problem here? Which guideline which I taught you in the previous classes are you missing? Are you kind of violating in this case? Anybody? Which guideline do you think is actually being violated? Number of hits to DB. Very good point. Yeah, you see, you're writing actually select and select, which is a loop on the database. It's going to hit the database again and again and again. And you see, you're even doing more crazy, deep nested select. Why? Because first it has to now select on the gross amount, and then it has to do currency conversion. So to read the currency exchange rate, what it has to do in this function module, to read the currency exchange rates, what it has to do, it has to again do a select on your TCURC table to find the currency exchange rates, and that's again in the database table, isn't it? So it's actually kind of, you know, a select query, and then again a select query which is going to DB to read this currency exchange rates and doing some currency conversion factors. So select inside select also is a big problem going forward for you. So that's the kind of problems this will happen. So it will hit the DB again and again with every select statement, and that's also a performance uh, problem for us. So what should be our aim? Our aim to minimize the number of hits to database, point one, and calculate this total what you're doing today in application layer using collect statement at DB level, because it's pretty easy. You can just do sum. You can use aggregate function sum at DB level at the gross amount, and it's going to give you the total count, total summation of gross amount in a particular currency. You can do group by with that. Okay, so let's gonna do an I'm just going to make a copy of this report first, and let me also put it into a notepad for all of you. So those who don't have my server access, you all can try this code exactly as it is in our in our um, in your own server by copy pasting this code yourself. If you cannot code this, then maybe make a copy of this program and create a little improved one. So I say copy, and I just create not plain vanilla. I want to just use aggregates in open SQL. Yeah, that's the one I want to create. Guys, please don't touch these reports. They are only there in system for reference. However, you those who have users in this server, please don't touch my reports, because people may refer this report. You can make a copy of my report and then make a change to it. Absolutely fine. Server is all yours. But try to don't touch the data and don't touch the code inside the report. Make a copy and make your changes whatever you like. Okay, that's just a request to all of you. Now coming back, let's quickly change that. So you can see here we're calculating first the average. Again, here we are going to hit the dB again and again and again. We are hitting the dB, so that has to be minimized. And how would you minimize that? Very very easy. You can use an aggregate function. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to calculate the total number of invoices using a count function. Okay, so here instead of just hitting calculating this count again and again, we're going to just group by it based on, so for one customer on a particular date, if five invoices are creating today, it's looping five times, right? So for one customer, if on same day, if there were five invoices created, system is going and hitting db table five times actually. We can minimize this. We can say on a particular day for a particular customer, whatever invoices are created, just give me at once the customer name. Second thing, give me the date. And third thing, give me the total number of invoices. In this case, five invoices were created. So that's my third value, five, which comes out. That's what I want to do with aggregate function. So let's go ahead and do that, improve it. So now I say come back, and with created at, along with this I will say comma count star. Give me that. Give me the count of invoices on that particular day for that particular customer. And remember, when you use aggregate function, it's mandatory for you to go ahead and put a group by clause. The columns which are not participating in aggregate function has to come in group by clause. That's a golden rule of group by clause. So the columns which are not participating are these two columns. In the aggregate functions, they have to come in the group by clause. So that gives me the count, and I just take it as a as counter, and this then creates a virtual column inside my work area. And this count is no more you're counting 1111. Instead, you just get the counter on a particular day for a particular customer. If there are 20 invoices created, this would now give you only one record saying 20 for that particular day. Next day again 20 invoices for that customer, so it's going to give you 20. Earlier it was looping 20 times. It will only get now one record from db with 20 as a count, because create date is same for that day for that customer. Clear? It would reduce little bit of number of records fetched. Of course it won't help you big, but yes, it reduces little bit. Then major improvement happens here in terms of gross amount. So you're going to say give me the sum of gross amount, okay, as gross amount. So for a particular customer on a particular day, what's giving an error, yeah. So on a particular day for sorry, for a particular customer, business partner, company, in a particular currency, whatsoever number of line items are there, you're going to fetch all of them in one shot and say group by. Once again, it's just put PPID company name and then put the currency code, all three codes in the group by, and rest all remains as it is. So this would then also help you big time to reduce the number of records which you're fetching. I actually did a mistake. I forgot to put in this query a where condition where we're saying open invoices. Actually, it's bringing all invoices, guys. This is my bad. I forgot actually. We are also using header table, and this has a column, say open invoices, right? So we should use that. So let's use that, where the invoice payment status is blank. That is one mistake. I think it's there in the previous report also. Let's correct that first. Otherwise, I will forget. So I just go back, YEPM OIA plain vanilla, and let me just come down. So this was a mistake actually, which we left over. Yes, here, yeah, where condition was missed out. So it's actually considering also the invoices which are paid as well, but that's not the idea. We need only look at unpaid invoices. So payment status is blank. Yeah, now it gives you the correct results, correct tagging. After being so careful, you see this kind of mistakes happens. That's completely fine. It comes as a bug to you, from Mr. James. Okay, so let's correct that. I'm just going to also update my notepad file so that you guys get the latest code, updated one, and just go back and change here, and then let's switch to aggregated results. And now that's it, no further change. This seems to work good, and we replaced it with the aggregate function. Okay. Okay, now I just activate it and looks good. Let's execute it and see कि कितना performance improve होता है. So we are now reduced the number of data pulled from the DB. Rather, we are calculating the total for invoices also in the DB and getting the only total amount, and on the total amount the currency conversion takes place. Similarly, the number of invoices which are repeating on a particular date are also reduced down. So let's execute. Okay, I'm gonna also execute in parallel the another one which we have for plain vanilla, and uska runtime we will see, and then we'll check both of their runtimes in parallel. What is the performance improvement are we getting with aggregate function? So plain vanilla I'll execute, and you see runtime is 65 milliseconds, and I'll just execute this aggregated one, and it comes under 54. So maybe I just re-execute. That would give, oh wow, see guys, 14 milliseconds. Okay, so first time new report, it takes little bit of time for compilation of the report itself, so that's not real observation. Now you see guys, how much performance improvement are you getting? 65 millisecond to 14 millisecond. Do you see a performance improvement with using aggregate function? Do you see the power of SAP HANA? Sum is getting calculated inside of HANA now. The count is getting calculated inside of SAP HANA. That's the power of HANA, guys, because HANA is built for the kill. It's built for doing such calculation. And you see, okay, we can also cross check the result values. So it's 1066379. The another report also 1066379. 417 is the average days. 417 is average. It's matching. So results are matching, guys. That's a clear proof that yeah, results are matching. But you see the runtime is drastically reduced with the aggregate function. See the power of SAP HANA, guys, right? Do you want more improvement in performance? Four results are different. That is because you see here some results are different. That is because on one side we are doing aggregation, and on other side we are getting single record. So this could be currency conversion difference. So imagine if you're doing a currency conversion at line item level, or if you're doing at aggregated value level, the currency conversion. Of course, there will be difference because very precise calculation happens at the line item level, because you have like 141.2 and 120.2 and 130.2, all three you are converting separately to a new currency and then summing up. On the other side, you're summing all three of them and then converting to another currency. Okay, so that's the reason of having little bit of difference, because here you are now calculating a total, and then doing currency conversion. On the other side, you are just looping and then one by one line item you're doing currency conversion. So that's something which is acceptable. But look at the performance improvement, guys. Look at the performance improvement. It's a big performance improvement. Yes, there is a difference also in this average. I completely agree. That's because the calculation, why how the calculations are happening within now in this, with respect to number of invoices. Okay, that's just because of that. It's not a big difference, however, but you can see the value. You can see the value in terms of performance improvement what you have it. Okay, so 14 milliseconds. Now imagine the scale. If it becomes so big, your data goes in billions. Of course this difference will be more, that I completely agree, but you look at the performance, what you're going to gain out of when you use the aggregate function. Now, do you think we can improve more? Sometimes yes. Okay, it depends on your data structure, it depends on your positioning, it depends on the volume of data, it also depends on power of SAP HANA and power of your application server. Sometimes you will see companies opt for a small size box of SAP HANA. It is not that powerful, it doesn't have so much of processing compute units inside. Okay, so in that case you would not see a great value coming out of SAP HANA when you try to do code to data paradigm. Like in this case, in this scenario, in our system we have just 2800 GB of RAM for SAP HANA. Okay, it's a very small size HANA box. It doesn't have that great power of calculation inside. It doesn't have so many nodes attached. I just have here an quad core processor running for SAP HANA, but in real time probably you will have so many processor, like four nodes of each node having quad core processor of 4. Yeah, so like it becomes a very big implementation, very expensive system, and then it makes more sense to then also do more and more code push down to SAP HANA, and then you're gonna get real power of SAP HANA. So that's what we're gonna explore now. Next we're gonna build this scenario inside of our SAP HANA system using information modeling. Okay, so we saw in ABAP how can you get some improvement, but if you want more improvement, more you want, then you can go to database level and model this complete OIA scenario inside of a HANA database, and that's what called information modeling. So let's introduce what exactly information modeling is all about. So let me start with information modeling, but before we start we have to first have a look at our DB, right? We have to first have a first look at our HANA DB, how the HANA DB is connected to ABAP. So if you want to know which database my ABAP system is connected, the very first thing what you can do is go to system, go to status, and now here you can see that the database system is HDB. What do you think HDB stands for? Anybody? What do you think HDB stands for? Anyone? Right, it's HANA database. Okay, you see version is 2.0. And can you see schema? What is a schema? Anybody? What do you think a schema is? Can anybody give me definition of schema? Anyone? What's the definition of schema in a database system? It's a collection of table. Good definition. What else? I expect more. What you will answer in an interview? What is schema in a database? Template? Maybe. What else? What do you think? What a schema in a database is? If you are going to an interview now, let's say in interview I'm asking you what is a schema, what will be your answer? What is a schema in database? Area where DB tables resides, set of database table resides. Good point. What else? What do you think? Database design? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Database design is your entity relationship actually. Okay, table space. Okay, okay, what else? What do you think? What is schema? What will be your answer to interviewer, guys? Will you say table design? Will you say area where DB tables are stored? Architecture of database. Okay, good. Let me define the definition of schema. Schema. What is exactly schema is? Schema of a database is a mandatory database object. चॉइस नहीं है, मैंडेटरी है. ओके, चॉइस नहीं है, टेबल हो ना हो स्कीमा होगा. ओके, whether you have a table or not, schema is must in a DB table, sorry, in a database. वो जान है, database की जान है schema. होगी ही होगी, it will always be there. Clear everyone? Whether there is a table or not, whether there is a structure or not, whether there is a view or not, whether there is a trigger or not, whether there is a procedure or not, schema is there always in DB. Okay, it's a mandatory database object. Very first thing, very first statement about schema. It's a mandatory database object. Why do you use this database object? What is the purpose of using this database object in the system? Why do we use it? It is used to organize and control the authorizations of database objects inside of a DB system. Clear? It is to organize. Organize means group and control the authorizations of database objects. Now, what are all the database objects? Anybody? Can you tell me some database object types? Anyone? What are all the different object types in the system? Tables. Tables are database objects. Structures, types, views. Very good. Procedures. अभी बोले ना, अभी मुंह खुलना स्टार्ट हुआ. Very good. Procedures. What else? What else? Come on, I need more. Sequences. Very good answer. Sequences. What else? Triggers. Superb answer. Triggers. These are all the database objects. There are many, many more. So it's a home of database objects like this, resides inside of schema. Okay. Usually, schema inside SAP HANA is one-to-one relationship with system. Is this a statement clear? Usually, schema inside SAP HANA has one-to-one relationship with ABAP and non-ABAP system. Let me take an example. You are running on SAP NetWeaver 7.4 and that runs on top of SAP HANA. Okay, this runs on top of SAP HANA. Okay, now your company just got this new system, just got this new setup. Do you think your current date, whatever your company have done, the business, they will throw away all the data and start fresh with this system? What do you think? Will your company start fresh with this system? They will say जाओ हुआ भूल जाओ, जो कस्टमर से लेना है भूल जाओ, जो बायर सेलर को देना है भूल जाओ. नया सिस्टम आ गया, अब तो सब कुछ बिजनेस विल रीस्टार्ट एवरीथिंग. Stop everything what was done in the past. We'll start with the new system. Because we have new system, let's start. What do you think they do? What do you think they do? What do you think they do? They could either do sidecar or they would replicate their old database data to the new database and make their ECC system now run on SAP HANA. What is this process called? Perfect answer, Bhaskar. It's called data provisioning. This is what I taught you in the previous class, right? Very good. You are all understanding. This is called data provisioning. So we didn't look at data provisioning techniques, but I just told you in a brief what is this process called. So this is what they do. Now, your ABAP system, okay? Your ABAP system is connected to SAP HANA, and there is something after new system setup, you've done some customizing. And there is some customizing in old system also. Now, when you bring this old system data to new system, what do you think? After setting up new system, you spent hours and months and weeks to do some new customizing for new system. Will it be overwritten by old customizing? What do you think? Should it be overwritten? Should it be ignored? Should it be merged? What will you do? How should it be done? What do you think? What do you think? It's complicated subject, right? It's a complicated subject. But if database tell you that whatever you do, I'm going to overwrite everything, will you buy such a database? Whatever you do, the moment you do migration, I'm going to touch and disrupt everything what you've done in the system. Maybe I don't care what you get me. There is only one space I give you. In this space you do everything, so you do new customizing that goes and sit in this space. When you bring the data, it overwrites this space. Will you buy such a database? Will you buy such a rigid database which gives you only one space where you can keep the data? Answer is no. And that's why you need schema. So what you do, you new system which you set up, you have a dedicated schema for this system. I call it SAP ABAP 1 probably. And when you're bringing data from your old ABAP system, I call it SAP ECC schema. So now there are two schemas. All the migrated data sits in this schema, and whatever new system setup you're doing sits in this schema. Once both of them are there inside database, now it is for better for you. It's good for you to decide what to keep, what to not keep, how to merge, right? Makes sense or doesn't make sense? Is that clear, everybody? Once both of them sit side by side together, now it's easy for you to compare, to decide what to overwrite, what to merge, what to keep, what to not keep, what to keep new, what to keep old, what to merge between them, right? Makes much better sense for you to plan, for you to, you know, control inside of a DB system. Do you understand the power of schema? That's why one schema for this system and another schema for migration, you get it gets created inside of SAP HANA, where you can get everything in a one single box, and then you can talk and resolve your conflicts with each other. Clear, guys? Is that clear, everybody? What exactly is happening here? So any data provisioning when you run, it actually have a dedicated schema where it will come. It won't overwrite your existing SAP ABAP system schema. And that's why you see there's a dedicated schema which is attached here, which is named as SAP ABAP 1. Inside of HANA DB, when you go, you will see lots of schemas. Schemas are group of objects. There the objects will reside, and one of the schema will be there called SAP ABAP 1. In that schema, you will see all your ABAP related objects, all your DDIC objects, whatever these tables you seeing now here in ABAP. These tables will be residing in which schema? Which schema these tables will be residing? Anybody? Which schema all these ABAP SE11, every single table which you see in SAP SE11 will be residing in which schema of DB? SAP ABAP 1 schema. And that schema name you can find out here pretty easily. Go to here and I see this is the schema where it will be there. Clear, everyone? Is that clear, everyone? Any doubt on this? Feel free to ask any doubt if you have. Schema part, is that clear? What is the definition of schema? Why is a schema? Will schema is a field name? Okay, let me just take the question. Will schema is a field in the DDIC? Any table? No, it's not at all a field. At database level, they are mandatory database object which will group everything. Okay, clear? Okay, let me get some water and we will continue. So there is a question, will me merge to schema during migration itself, and does basis no table to select from which schema for merging or no merging? So this is something which your database administrator has to decide. First they do a data provisioning. They bring all the data from your legacy system to a schema, dedicated schema. Okay, this is what your database administrator will do. They do data provisioning, they pull all the data to the schema, a dedicated schema. But these database tables and schemas are not yet visible to you in a BAP system. What can you see in a BAP system? Which tables, which objects can you see in a BAP system? Which are part of this ABAP dedicated schema, right? Because this is the schema ABAP knows. ABAP only talks to this. ABAP don't know. You can have thousands of other schemas in DB. ABAP don't know them. ABAP only talks to this one. This is a dedicated schema to your ABAP system. Okay. And then another interesting point to note here, that ABAP only talks to this schema with a dedicated user. ABAP will not use your application ABAP user. In ABAP system, you may have your user ID as a developer, right? ABAP won't use that. ABAP is going to use a dedicated user which is created specifically to talk to this schema, right? Otherwise, what will happen if ABAP start using your user to talk to DB? You would also have to now replicate your user in database also, right? You have to also create an equivalent user in DB also, which is there in your ABAP system. So then you have a maintenance of two places, same user. So that's the reason ABAP dedicatedly use one dedicated user to talk to this schema ABAP1. And which is the dedicated user? You can again go back and check. Can anybody tell me which user SAP is using in this system to talk to that SAP ABAP1 schema? Is this user SAP ABAP1? So SAP ABAP1 is not just a schema, is also there is a user created with same name who is talking to DB. It's not your user. Hence, there is no need for your developer user to be replicated in DB. This is one good interview question. The interview question is, I am running on SAP HANA. I have a developer user in my ABAP system. Do I need a dedicated developer user also inside HANA DB? What will be your answer? Do you need a user inside HANA system dedicatedly for yourself? No, not required, because ABAP talks to SAP HANA with a dedicated user pre-configured to that schema. Okay, but there is a but, guys. If you want to do native data development, which we will see it in upcoming days like information modeling, then you need a dedicated user inside HANA DB, with which is a developer user. Okay, which is a developer user to do database development. Is that clear? For database development you need, but as long as you're working with OpenSQL, as long as you're working with ABAP layer, you don't need a user in HANA DB separately. Your functional team, your functional users don't need a dedicated user in HANA. It's all communicated via single dedicated user ABAP1 here. Another place where you can see all the database connections which are attached to this particular ABAP system is DBA cockpit transaction. DBA cockpit transaction, you can go and check out the details about database systems. So you see this system is running on two databases. One is your HANA DB, and another, there is another DB which they are connected to, to SF4 DB, which is a Max DB live cache. So this S4 HANA system is running actually on two databases in parallel. It is connected, but one database at a time will be the primary database. Other database is a sidecar scenario. So it's a side scenario, side database which with which they have connected. Could be any reason, I don't know, but there are two DB which they're running this ABAP system. Remember, 1 dB will always be the default or the primary connection. So here this system is running on SAP HANA as a primary database. That's why it's truly an ABAP. Okay, it's truly an ABAP on HANA system. That's the reason, because it's primarily running HANA as a primary database. This is the primary database for the system. And there's also sidecar scenario, another DB which is connected. The schema which is connected, or the user which is used, is SAP ABAP1. So let me now connect to our HANA DB and show you how these tables are visible now inside of HANA, and show you the first look of our HANA. Okay, so those who have got the server access, guys, you also have got the remote server access for this server. You guys can go and connect with your remote RDP connection this time, and looking into the RDP connection in your HANA DB. Okay, don't do it right now. Don't do it right now. Do it later when you're practicing things. When I teach you things, at that time you do it. Don't do it right now. So I'll go to MSTSC, remote desktop connection, and put my IP address, which I think those who have opted for server, I've shared the credentials and IP address with all of you guys. So please use that. So maybe I'm using mine, and I'll connect to my RDP now. Remember one thing, you can access SAP system locally, you can access SAP system from SAP locally, you can access this system from local Eclipse, you can access Launchpad locally from your local computer, Fury locally, WebID connection locally, but you can't access HANA DB locally. HANA DB you can only access using RDP. Okay, that's a limitation with our current server. But however, those who are using Cal server, they can also connect to HANA DB from local computer. And then there is a DB user. You can see HANA Studio is already open. Some of you will not see HANA Studio open or available in your system. So you can find that up. It's very easy. Okay, it's very easy. You can go there, and then you can just you can see either a HDB Studio shortcut, or go to Window, search for HANA Studio. Okay, search for HANA Studio. You can see like this, HANA Studio, and just open that. Since it's already open, it's giving me an error. So then you can put it in the desktop and then open this up. There is a dedicated user given to you also to connect to HANA DB in your RDP system, and that detail is maintained on a desktop file, user details. In this you will see the detail about HANA system. If the HANA system is not added here, just do write me an email. Don't panic. I will put your concern to the basis team. They will add the user, they will add this HANA system here to your HANA Studio. If it is not there, if it is there, well and good. If it is not there, just do let me know with a screenshot please. So, and your user ID also, and then I will confirm with basis people, they will add it for you. If you don't see, if you see this, very good, login and you will be connected. Now look at these sections. Look at these sections. So what are all these sections? Very first section is the catalog, which is representing all the anybody, all the anybody, all the anybody, all the anybody. What is this? All of these are what? Anyone. What are all these things? No, not database objects. What are all these? These are all the schemas, guys. Perfect answer. These are all the schemas of database. So in past, they may have done some migration from another system, so they would have an SAP ECC schema, or they would have some different schemas. Yeah, and I would recommend you to not create your own schemas in the system. It's a humble request, please don't do that. However, for every user you would find a schema dedicatedly created. You see, this is schema for my mob5 user. This has been already available. Don't create extra schemas in the system. Okay, we are not going to do a native HANA development in this. We're going to do development corresponding to our ABAP related. So that's the reason I am requesting, not don't create your other schemas, just reuse the one. Which schema do you think is the schema for your ABAP system out of all these? Which schema do you think is a schema for ABAP system? And you can find the baby over here. This is the one. This is the baby. He's not crying. And you see this is the schema which is connected to our ABAP system. So our ABAP system, as I showed you in ABAP system, they mentioned that ABAP schema name in DB, and this is what ABAP system is talking to. So do you think ABAP, when you create a table in SE11, that table will get created in any other schemas? When you create a table in SE11, will that schema goes in some others? Will that table goes in other schemas? Of course not. Which schema that table will go and sit, and where will your data go and sit? It will always talk to this. Is that clear, everybody? Hope it's clear. Please, it's a request to all of you, don't mess up with system. When you're doing things, don't do experimenting here. It is going to hamper. Last week you saw the server was down for about 2 days over the weekend. It was because somebody did a mistake. Somebody went into DB level and did something which they don't know about. So don't do things, it has a cost associated. It is going to hamper your practice. If you want server to be in smooth way to run, please don't mess up with server. Don't overload thing, because big power comes with big responsibilities. We are giving you HANA database access. You have a lot more power to do. People are crazy. Sometimes they can go and delete the schema. It's gonna cost everyone, guys. Please don't do that. I am going to find out that person, and believe me, I'm not going to spare that person if you are going and deleting this this schema from the system. Okay, I will not spare you if you do bad things in system. Don't maliciously try those things in system. If you want to try, use your cal server, set up a cal account there, you whatever you like, it's your personal system, you can do it. Here this system is used by lot of your friends, lot of your batchmates. So please don't compromise with integrity with those people. Okay, because I've seen people does bad things, and then server crashes, then HANA DB crashes, and something else crashes, and then we are all waiting. You might have seen recent days server was down, IP address was changed, sometimes something other issue. That's all because people are taking it for granted. They're just doing something in the system. Please do it wisely, act like little professional, and then do things which are good, which you want to really learn. Do some fruitful learning, experimenting. If you want to do, use your cal server, absolutely no problem with that. Okay, now in this schema, let me quickly show you our DB tables. Now you see the schema, as I told you, it's a collection of database objects, your indexes, your functions, your procedures, your sequences, your synonyms, your tables, your triggers, your views, everything what you create in ABAP gets created over here. Let me right click, quickly apply a filter. There will be thousands of tables from ABAP system which persist in this. And if I open this is going to take a lot of time. So I'm just going to apply a filter, and I'm just going to put star snwd, or I'm just going to put snwd underscore so underscore, or maybe just so, and I say okay. And now I see it applies a filter. I can expand it now, and voila, you see your sales order tables, right? Your tables which you saw in ABAP system do exist here. You can quickly do a right click on invoice header and do a open content. Voila, you see your data which you saw on ABAP, same data is there. Now you're sitting close to your DB, right? This is your database, guys. This is your third layer. By far, those who were working in ABAP, we never used to care about the bottom layer, the third layer in three-tier architecture. This is the time HANA brings you close to the third layer. You are now at the third layer, the bottom layer of three-tier architecture, because this is the DB designed by DB, designed by SAP. SAP opens up the door for you to look at the third layer and do things in the third layer now, because this layer is so powerful, so powerful. Is that clear, everybody? The schema concept, what is schema inside of SAP HANA? What is the purpose of schema? Why do we do? And now you see the purpose of schema is very simple. All your ABAP related objects are there in this. You are not allowed to create a table here. Actually, if I try to create a table inside this, I will not be allowed, because my user mob5 doesn't have a right now for this schema. Only SAP ABAP one user who's connecting from ABAP has a right to this. So very well controlled way for also controlling the authorizations. So not authorized to do anything on this schema. So maybe just for trial purpose, if I want to insert maybe a record, I think I should be able to insert a record, but probably I'll not be able to delete a DB table. But don't try, I am not also trying that. But that's something authorization control which is placed inside the system at schema level. So authorizations are well controlled with the schema. And now you see also another beauty of schema. You are using old ERP system. Do you think in old ERP system you had a Mara table? Do you think in old ERP system you had a Mara table? Yes or no? Were you having Mara table? Yes. Do you think in your new SAP S4 HANA system you also have a Mara table? Right? What will happen if there is no schema concept? What do you think? What will happen if there is no schema concept? What do you think will happen when you do migration from old DB? Mess up. It's going to destroy your HANA Mara table structure. Name conflict will come, which will destroy. See the power of schema, guys. Schema protects you. It is protecting you. You can have Mara table in this migrated schema, and you can have a Mara table in SAP ABAP schema, right? This won't hamper your migration, won't hamper your existing DB tables. These things comes with experience, guys. Nobody will teach you these things in any training. It's an open challenge. People will just give you schema definition. They will not teach you practical purpose of schema in DB. This is the real power of schema. Hope you understood it today. What is the power of schema inside DB? Why we need schema? If I wouldn't have kept multiple schema concepts, it would have destroyed everything. Data, structures, my database tables, indexes, database objects, everything would have got destroyed, right? Now that's the safeguarding using schema. Now, if Z table created in SAP SE11, it will come here in HDB also. Of course, the migration process also says once the migration is done, they will replicate the ECC tables with a Z objects back to your SAP ABAP one. Okay, this is what they will be doing. Clear, everyone? The migration is not just about just bringing data and keeping it in another schema. They will meticulously also transfer your Z objects to the new schema. Clear? And that's not our duty. That's the duty of database migration guys, to also transfer your Z objects to this. Merge things, transfer things, override things. All that is their duty, not your duty. Okay? You're going to get a system which is fresh, ready to consume. Okay? It's not your duty. It's data provisioning and migration is their duty, their headache, not our headache. Clear? Look at the responsibilities very, very clearly here. Now, what is meant by catalog? I'm coming to it. I'm coming to it, guys. What is catalog? Catalog is a collection of schema. So now you can see it's very easy to define a catalog. It's a collection of schema in DB. It's just a folder structure. So catalog is a collection of schema inside of SAP HANA. It includes all the schemas which you have in the system. Clear, everyone? What is a catalog? It's a collection of schema. So we understand schema. Now you can, it's pretty apparent that catalog is a collection of schema. Let's look at other folders. What is provisioning? What is provisioning? What is the provisioning section? The provisioning section is used when you're migrating. Okay, when you're migrating, guys, that is the point when the provisioning process takes place. So here you are gonna put all your provisioning related stuff. So you see, one of the provisioning technique is smart data access or BODS or SLT. So all your provisioning related stuff will be taken care by the provisioning folder. We are again not concerned about it. You all know the data provisioning. What is it called? The data provisioning process. So during the provisioning process, the database migration experts will be using that folder section for provisioning. So let's note down here the folder structure in HANA DB. So first thing was catalog. What was catalog? Catalog. What was catalog? Catalog was, okay, let me just get the right spelling. Maybe I missed it. CATALOG. Yeah, CATALOG. It's correct. But why it's giving me an error? Let add it to dictionary. So catalog, it's a collection. It contains, or it's a collection of schemas. Collection of all schemas are part of catalog. And now you go inside a schema. Each schema has database objects for which you want to control the authorizations and everything. So it's a home of mandatory database object called schema. Clear? That's what a catalog is. Provisioning is used by database migration experts during provisioning process. Okay, this is something even I'm not an expert, guys, in this area, but yes, I've seen some provisioning scenarios where they use this section heavily. And of course, that's not our cup of tea as an application developer, as I explained you in the previous classes as well. What is the thin line? Then comes is the content section. Very interesting. This is something which is interesting for us. Not probably fully a lot of interest, but yes, little bit of interest we will do. Anyone, one question to all of you. When you do productive ABAP development, where do you store your programs, your function groups, function modules, yeah, your reports, your dialog programs, etc., etc.? Where, guys? You store it in a package, right? Why? Now I'll ask you why. Who will tell me why? Why do you store things in a package? Yeah, that's just one way transport. You can, yeah, you can say that it's just for transport reason. Very good point. What else? Why do you do that? Perfect. Organizing the content. You can organize the applications, application artifacts like programs and things in a package. It's way of organizing. Now, group of packages becomes an application component. That's your whole of application, right? So when you create a package, has anybody created package in their life in a BAP system? If you're an architect, probably your principal developer, you might have done that. So you always give the transport layer. What will be the transport layer? So package is not just used for organizing, but also plays an important role of transporting the content. So you specify the transport layer at package level in SAP. So if I just go quickly to any package, you would see that every package has a transport layer associated to it. So if I just go to a standard ABAP program, maybe rs underscore oia, do we have a program with this name? Yeah. So let's see if I do have a program with this name rs underscore oia in the system. So something which is pretty look, should look standard. So maybe just check for a yes, we do have, and just go inside and show which package this particular report is assigned to. Okay, so you'll find actually it's part of a SAP standard package, and that package has a transport layer assigned to it that controls that when something is logged in this particular package and transported, which are all the systems it will go to, right? It defines the transport path. Yeah. Also, it sometimes you don't want to deliver some objects, you want to keep it only in the home layer, right? So there are home layer packages also in the system. So that's what exactly package does in SAP HANA. If you want to do database development, which we will be doing by creating information models in our next class, you actually put it inside a package. You cannot create your database development objects randomly anywhere wherever you like. You got to put it in a package. So just the way in ABAP you do ABAP development in package, in SAP HANA, when we want, when we do database development, example information models, views, procedures, functions, triggers, whatever database development, SQL scripting, anything you do must be part of a package. Is that clear, everybody? What is a package in SAP HANA? Just like ABAP, you have a package concept in SAP HANA. Collection of all the packages. Collection of all the packages becomes your content. Clear, everybody? Collection of all the packages becomes your content. So what is the content? It's a collection of packages inside of HANA. Each package includes the object. We can transport from dev to q to p objects of SAP HANA only and only when they are part of a package. Clear, everybody? Is this clear, everyone? What exactly happens? Now there's a question here, very good question actually. How are the content and schema database objects are related? So basically the question is, what, how the content and catalog, how are they related, right? Very good question actually. So if I create something here, will it be going and persisting inside my schema? Now, to answer that question, I'll tell you the best answer of this question. Content stores the design time information. Design time information of object. Its definition. Okay. When the object is activated, it is persisted inside of schema. Is this clear? When you create an object, you create start with the package part of content. The moment you activate the object, it creates that equivalent object inside of catalog, inside of your schema. Is this clear, everybody? When you activate, what happens? Just the way in ABAP, you create a DD table. Okay, let's say Archana creates a database table Z employee. She saves this table now. Will I be able to see the table with my user? She just created a table and saved it. Will I be able to see the DB table? No. She has to activate the table, and that's when the object gets replicated to the catalog section, and that becomes the permanent database object. Is that clear, everybody? To just show you a very very top level, okay, not giving so much of high dose at the moment, just to show you guys, I also have a local installation of SAP HANA. See the beauty. I have a local installation of SAP HANA because I'm also taking native HANA application development course with my students. I'm teaching them developing complete solution inside of HANA, including user interface, including database tables, processing logic, orchestration logic, calculation logic, select, read, write, update, database, services, UI, everything can be done within HANA. If you don't need a BAP, this is the best way. This is a matter of choice. This is what will be the future, guys. Native HANA development. It's also known as Access and Access Advance. SAP HANA Access. Access is a lightweight application server inside of SAP HANA, just like your ABAP application server. It can take care of everything what you need to develop an end-to-end solution. And now you see here all these objects which I'm creating, they're getting stored in a package called BIP. The moment I activate an object, the object gets created inside of schema. So if I just go and try to create an object, so just to show you guys, very very brief, I will right click here and say new, and I'll just create now a view, a simple view. So I just create an attribute view. Okay, and I just gonna pull one table, database table. So I say 80 Anubhav. Yeah, and I'm just gonna say finish. I'm just gonna drag and drop a database table inside of this view. Okay, so I'm just gonna go and drag and drop a sales order table, and I just choose certain columns. So sales order ID I want, and I want gross amount, I want currency code, I want net amount, I want the sales order lifecycle status, and that's it. I save this, and now when I saved it, you go to SAP HANA. Okay, you go to SAP HANA system, and now you see the BIP package. Inside that there's a model package. Inside, if you just come and refresh, okay, you can see an attribute view is created. Yeah, this attribute view is stored inside the package. It's just stored, guys, inside the package. Does it, can I run this? Can I execute it? Is it possible to do a data preview on this object? Answer is no, because it's not active. It's not a database object. It's just a design time definition of the object. ओके, इट्स अ डिजाइन टाइम इंफॉर्मेशन. इसका मेटा डेटा डिफाइन किया है अभी. अभी ये एक्टिवेट नहीं है. अभी ये डेटाबेस ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं बना है. अभी इसका व्यू नहीं बना है डेटाबेस में. इसका व्यू डेटाबेस में जब बनेगा जब मैं इसको एक्टिवेट करूंगा. व्हेन आई गो एंड एक्टिवेट दिस गाय नाउ. Okay, let me go and activate. So I go and right click and just say team activate. Guys, this is a little high overdose, may not be relevant for ABAP development, but those who have curiosity, it will kill your doubt of curiosity. तुमको नींद अच्छा आएगा आज. ये doubt मैंने solve कर दिया है, because you can understand now. The moment you do this, now a database object got created, and this is the baby. This is the activated object which is now persisted in the database. You see which schema it created. This sysbig schema, it has created an object with this name. You can go now to system. You can go to sysbig schema. Okay, go to sysbig schema, go to the views, and now you will find that view inside. I don't have an authorization, select authorization on this schema. However, I can just go and search for that. So I can copy the name, right click on the views and just see if I think I may have or may not have. I just apply a filter and see if I do have authorization to see this view. No, I don't have authorization to actually see. This gets activated. This is the runtime object. This is what you will be talking in your programs, in your reports, in your SQL script. This is what you will be talking to. You are not going to talk to design time object. You're going to talk to your runtime object, and that's what is persisted inside the catalog. Is that clear? Even some of you would have taken HANA training. I bet you, if your trainer who gave you HANA training would have taught about these things, would have taught you this concept. I bet you, because they don't know how to teach. They don't know this is what happens in behind the scenes in system. They don't work till the depth of the system. They just learn from somewhere and become a trainer, and they teach somebody else. If you go to any HANA demo, believe me, you as an ABAPer will now beat HANA consultant in your company after this course is complete. But don't be a snoozer. Remember, don't be a snoozer. Don't be a backbencher. Be an active, passionate learner, and that's when you will beat anybody in your company, because you know the depth of the system now. Okay, so that's what the design time runtime object concept. So runtime objects are all stored in the schemas, and design time objects are stored in the packages inside of content. Finally, security. This is mainly used by administrators to control the authorizations. Now, just to quickly give you a look here, if I go to the user, you see I have created a user here, Anubhav, and now you see here in the object privileges I can go and give authorizations to my schemas. Yeah, so I can go and give authorizations to my schemas, whether somebody can run, create, update, delete, change, select, insert, drop, debug something inside the schema objects or not. Yeah, so you see schema is a pretty well known and defined concept at DB level, which is well used for grouping content, safeguarding your migration, safeguarding you big time, giving you separate dedicated space to work upon before you do migration, and then also controls the authorization for users at the schema level for your database objects. So that's all in all the power pack concept of schema is all about. And you see security is uh, pretty vast topic. We're not going to discuss HANA security in this course. It's a very big topic, mainly used for people who extensively do database development, like native HANA application development. This is the future. Down the line, after 6 years, 10 years, or maybe after 15 years, I repeat, I don't see ABAP future in next 15 years, after 15 years. So till the time, if you retire, well and good, you survive, you can earn money, you can earn your living and live life happily for next 15 year. उसका बंदोबस्त मैं कर दूंगा इस कोर्स में. ABAP on HANA, next 15 year you can feel free. S4 HANA, S4 HANA, all that you will be, you can feel so relaxed after completing this course. Next 8 to 10 years, your career is set after this course. 8 to 10 years easily. Maybe 15 years afterwards, this is the place where the world is moving to, because world is moving to cloud. And cloud may, this is what is a game changer, because we have HANA access advance, which is purely built for cloud. It has cloud like features, high availability, less downtime, zero upgrade, fast release cycles, agile development, these resource management, your volume management, resource consumption, fail in case, safeguarding for failure mechanism, load balancing in a much better way. If a service goes down, another service ready to pick up, microservice architecture, lot of cloud ready features which are there with access. So if you are interested, you can subscribe to my access and access advanced course, going pretty well. We are building a complete solution inside of access, end-to-end pizza delivery application with the dashboard. We are building, starting from the scratch, development of a database table, views, procedures, functions, SQL script, HANA CDS, everything I'm doing inside of these roles, analytical privileges, complete end-to-end HANA, native HANA development we are doing inside of SAP HANA DB in that course. Not right now relevant for a BAPA. Don't panic. You will get used to these things sooner or later when you hear about them. Okay, coming back, so let's note down what exactly this last section does. The security. It's used by administrators to control authorizations for users. Clear, everyone? So I think it's enough for the day. Otherwise, it will become again high dose. Hope you want more today, guys. You want more? Yes, or you want me to stop? Bhaskar is saying yes. Any specific perspective you use? Okay, we use SAP HANA development perspective inside of HANA to be able to do native HANA development. Okay, so we have a repository concept. A lot of concepts are involved. I will not be able to tell everything. If you just want to get a brief idea about native HANA development, at least watch out a demo session. It's already available on my YouTube channel. Go to my YouTube channel, get a very fair idea with a demo session on SAP HANA Access. It's a very good demo session which I recorded to give you a brief idea about what HANA Access is all about. I've also recently recorded a video on HANA CDS, which you can go and check, because in my last ABAP on HANA course, many people were confused. What is HANA CDS? What is ABAP CDS? So to remove that confusion, I created a YouTube video for you guys to explain what HANA CDS is all about. It is different than, and you see here HANA Access and Access Advanced training. In this 47 minutes, I showed how to build end-to-end application, a chatbot application on native HANA application. So complete architecture is explained of native HANA, and then we built a chat bot here, a intelligent machine. When you chat to this machine is going to reply. You see, I write hello, and the machine says hey. Okay, and then if I type something else, how are you, and press enter, it goes to machine and machine says fine. So this is like intelligent software. This is artificial intelligence and machine learning. That's the future. You might be hearing these things in your company: machine learning, IoT, predictive analytics, Leonardo, Copilot. These are all new things which are coming up. Exciting stories are getting built around these things. I'm not right now teaching them, but this example I have used HANA Watson machine learning library and built a native HANA application on top of SAP HANA, and I've created a chatbot. Chatbot is like you're chatting and it's understanding what you're saying, and then it's accordingly responding to you. You can learn this complete free tutorial available on my website on Anubhav Learning Series. Complete code is also available. You can quickly download this code, put it in your HANA box. I've taught everything. Yeah, in this actually I've removed the IBM Watson, and I did it with pure JavaScript, because otherwise it will not run for your system. That's the reason I removed the Watson code and used a little bit of server-side JavaScript manipulation to do that. You can see here HANA Access JS programming on Anubhav Learning Series and download source code. कंप्लीट सोर्स कोड दे दिया है. डाउनलोड कर लो, हाना सिस्टम में डाल लो, चला लो, इम्प्रेस कर लो अपने मैनेजर को. यू कैन डू दैट गाइस. Complete source code, just download, put it in your HANA box. That also I taught how to download, how to put in your HANA box. Chatbot HANA Access, you can showcase this to your company, you can showcase this to your colleagues. They will be mesmerized by looking at this particular application. A very small Fury application like chatbot, intelligent machine who replies, who understand human talk. जस्ट टू रिमूव योर बोरियत, अपनी बोरियत रिमूव करना है, चैट बॉट इंस्टॉल कर लो, इसके साथ चैट करो, ये आंसर देगा आपको. इट्स लाइक सीरी लाइक कॉन्सेप्ट इन आईफोन. व्हेन यू टॉक टू सीरी, सीरी responds to you by listening to you, and that's what you can do similar to this. It's a mobile, it's also mobile ready because I built it in SAP Fiori. Okay, so that's something you can do that, guys. If you are interested to just try this out, download the source code. It's freely available on my website. So with that, it's a wrap on today's class. I can't resist myself to share as much as information I can. Maybe you think there's too much, you are far behind. Yes, you are far behind, but you are, wake up. You at least know what you are doing. You've started your path towards the right purpose. You took the right path. Don't go back. Don't go and sleep again. Okay, you wake up after 2 3 snooze. Stay on your purpose, guys. There are a lot, I understand. Okay, there is a lot which you got to cover up, but don't worry. As long as you are there with Anubhav, it's my promise. Even you don't take my training, you will learn a lot from me. But don't go back and sleep. Don't go back and sleep. That promise, if you give me, you're gonna learn a lot with me. Okay, next couple of
Anubhav,
questions.
Anubhav, just a question over here.
Yes.
In which case later on we need to create schema? I know in ABAP we may not need to create at all, but just I mean like in what case other than data provisioning, I mean during data migration, uh, other than that later when we
Native HANA
create a new
application
schema.
development, that's where you create a schema. You want to build a complete software. Now in this, see, we are building a pizza application. So we have actually created a schema here. So if you see this BIP HDB schema artifact which we created, this goes and creates a BIP schema in SAP system. This is the schema for my complete software. So I'm building a complete native HANA application software in here, which has DB table, which has complete logic, what you'd code in ABAP, everything in SQL script and XSJS, server side JavaScript and Node.js we are coding here. And that's the case when we're building this schema here. For native HANA application development, you got to create a schema. In that case, you would need it. Yeah.
Uh, okay, and one last thing. I mean, like we have the package name catalog, right? I mean, we are storing all the schemas in a catalog. So, I mean, like this is just a common sense question. Why we don't have a schema? I mean, like why we call as catalog and not a schema over
No,
there?
it's just like grouping of schema. It's just a folder at HANA level. See, if I will suddenly open this main node and I see suddenly 5,000 schemas, then I'm kind of lost. Okay, so I got to group these things also, right? Runtime objects, design time objects, provisioning objects, and security objects, right? Within the runtime objects, I see all the schemas. Within the schemas, I see the activated tables. You see, these are all the activated tables. And now I can run this and see, right click, say generate a SQL statement, open a data preview, and that's all my data. Yeah, that's all my data, my sales order data. I right click and I just do open content. That's all my sales order items data. Clear, everybody? Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, any other questions? You won't find these tables in our SAP system. This is my local HANA installation. Luckily, I could convince my mom and dad to buy a new laptop for me, and they agreed for this. And I bought a new laptop recently, about a month ago. Do you know the purpose of this laptop? Just because I wanted to learn installation of HANA Express Edition. It's a lightweight HANA system suited for one single developer, and that was needing 16 GB of RAM and a latest Intel processor. I was having a 2 3 3 year old laptop which was not having that big RAM, and upgrade was also not possible. Just for my learning purpose, I spent 1,25,000 rupees to buy this HANA, buy this laptop, installed SAP HANA inside of this to learn native HANA application development. I set it up. I did everything. Sleepless nights once again. I learned SAP HANA, HANA Access, native HANA development and XSA, and now I launched a course also for the same. और उस कोर्स से मेरा मेरा लैपटॉप का पैसा रिकवर हो गया. And now I have a new property, I have a new learning with me. See, that's what learning can give you. It inspires me. And don't think my only job is learning, my only job is training. I am just like you guys, a regular job holder. I will not reveal my company name. I also have 8 to 5 job. So if I can do it, you can also do it. I'm not exceptional. You can also do it, guys. I'm not exceptional. And believe me or not, you will not trust me if I'll say this, I am a slow learner. Believe me or not, in this batch, none of you is as slow as I am. I am slowest of all of you. Slowest of all of you guys. But you know the quality? Once I learn, I never forget. Because I write everything in my notebooks. This is the secret of my learning. You want to use this secret? Your choice. You have your own secret which is working for you. perfectly fine. Don't go back on sleep. Don't be a snoozer. With that, it's a wrap. No further questions. We'll take up the questions in next class. Have a nice day. Goodbye. See you.